Morning, it's Tonk here. How's everyone today? On this episode today, I've got a new winch. I've got this Z Super off eBay. I think it's the same sort of thing as an X-Bull. It's a 4,500 pound or whatever. Comes with a couple of remotes and all the gear, cabling, bolts. I've got to mount it. It'll fit just here nicely. I just got to drill another hole there. Use that hole. I'm just going to use the 2 bolt holes now. Then I might weld a little plate in here to this bolt, a little plate across there, and then put another piece of box coming down off this thing to that, just to sort of give that a triangulation. Like I said on previous videos, I have no trouble with my posts because I run a 1500 kg strap here and another 1500 kg strap here. Oh, sorry, there. And this boat becomes basically part of that trailer, and because then it gets pulled down hard on these skids, it doesn't move. So that post is really doesn't do much. It's just there to winch the boat on. But before I start, oh yes, and one of the things I like to do, see this here, they're all crimped. I'm going to put a bit of solder on the end of these. I pulled this box apart and had a look. I was going to solder in them, but it's pretty waterproof, so I'll leave that for now, and I'll just solder the ones that's out in the open. I've got to then going to put a Anderson plug onto this one, cut those off and put an Anderson plug on, and then drill a hole there, bolt that winch on. But there, thanks to everybody who's watching, and to my subscribers, thanks very much for it'd be nice if some of you, extra few of you, actually commented every now and then on what I do. I don't give a bugger whether you rip a fart up me and tell me it's a heap of shit. I just won't even worry about answering you. That's the beauty of this. And now I'll answer you. I'll give as good as I take. Yeah. But I know there must be a lot of yous out there. I've got 430 subscribers, and the same old 2 always comment, or 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah, so just leave a comment. No pressure, you don't have to, but it'd be nice if someone did. Anyway, if you're watching this, I'd like to give a plug to Tony Wed on his YouTube channel. If you want a good channel called Fish Tone, check him out, look him up. He does the same sort of stuff as me, unsponsored. Does the same sort of trips with his mates. I've been trying to get on a trip with him for a few years, and we just cannot get the dates and everything to line up. One day, mate, we will. Then Thumbburn Fishing. We'll give a shout out to Jason at Thumbburn Fishing. What a bloody top channel he's got. He gets into the barra and has really good builds, and oh, he doesn't spare 1 cent on maintenance and stuff, whereas I'm a bit frugal, a bit more of a tight ass. Then there's Andy Khan on Total Carnage. He's a bloody good old fella. I've actually met Andy. He's come here and had a cuppa at my house when he visited his mum on the coast. Have a check out his channel. He's right into his barra. Who else do I watch? Oh, that's about it for now. There is a couple more I watch out there. I generally try and watch all the unsponsored ones. Andy's sort of gone a bit Hollywood now, being sponsored, but still, he has good down-to-earth product. Same with Tony, same with me. No bullshit stuff. I know I swear a bit much more on my videos now. I have a bit of swear, but that's just me. I don't see the point of sugarcoating it anymore. I'm getting a bit sick of the woke culture and all the rest of it. You know, that's just the way Australian males talk when they're by themselves or out doing what they do. If you get offended by that, switch it off. I don't care, don't watch me. But that's what happens. I'm just letting you know that if I hit my thumb in this shed here, I'm gonna fucking swear. That's all there is about it. So, I'm sorry, That's just life. Anyway, back to this fitting this winch up. Yeah, so I've got the Weller here. She's an 80 amp 240 soldering iron. I've got the flux, the soldering with the flux inside it. Then here for putting the see, I'm a soldering bloke. I like anything that's out in the open or around the salt. I should have nearly pulled that apart and soldered all these as well on that. But it's a bit fiddly getting it all back together, and the heat might knock it around a bit. So I'll leave it for a while, and I'll pull this box off every now and then and check it. It's not waterproof. It's got a seam just there, which I might just put a little bit of Sikaflex. Depends. I might mount it up like that and then put Sikaflex along the top just to keep that out of the rain. But first I've got to give this a clean up and mount this bit of box in here. I'll just get a bit of plate, bit of mucking around. I'll weld it just there into this one so that if I have to move it, I can move it, you know, or just cut him off with it, the angle grinder. I can move that post somewhere along the line. I don't want to permanently weld it to the and I don't want to weld across here on the beam because it'll crack, but I'll weld it to this plate and that bolt, and that should hold it just to give it a bit more support up under here. I'm really thinking of not doing it, but I will, just because I can. Every little bit helps. All right, I've got to get a bit of steel and muck around. I'll put you over here. From what I've heard, the Osmo DJI action cameras leave the GoPros for dead. Got to do a little bit more research on that to make sure. These are me mattresses I put in between the solar panels when I'm travelling. Yeah, sorry about the rubbish in this shed. It's only me it's got to contend with. Only reason it's actually clean at the moment because there's been a few hailstones and storms around, and we've got it cleaned out so I can put the little car in here. Son and my wife's old car. Now, let me have a look. Oh, that would have been good, that bit of stainless. That would have been perfect with a brace if it was the right length. I'm just gonna use what I got. So if I haven't got anything, it mightn't get done until I have. My biggest trouble is finding a little bit of steel. I might put them outside before they hit me on. Oh, here we go. Nice bit of steel here. Cut this. Put that up in there. I'll see how that goes. It is a bit big actually. It's probably too big. Yeah, it'd be perfect, but it's all about weight these days. You're better off making it stronger than weaker trouble is I've got to scrape all this stuff up underneath here so I can weld it. I'll cut a bit of plate and put in there. Yeah, I might as well just get in and do it and it's done. I might turn this off, go and put some boots on and come back and do a proper job. Even though it'll be wild, at least it'll be done. I got that bit of steel, I'll cut that. It's only flopping 4 or 5 kilos extra on the trailer, and it will make it stronger. So all right, I'll go and put some shoes on and come back and do this again and film it. Now if you've never welded before, it's a good idea to unhook either disconnect both batteries on your truck so you don't bug your alternator, and then I'm going to get up on the boat and disconnect the battery off the off the battery. Even though I've got a I've got a isolator, so that'll do. I'll just turn the isolator off, but I think I'll still get up and take the terminal off the battery in the boat as well for when you're welding. I might have rounded that a bit too far. I just run a little cheap lock on this hitch to stop it popping off. The old girl, she's probably new for a new one, but as you know, around your hitches, this is a hydraulic one for disc brakes, high tensile bolts, holding the hitch on, plate them up, you know. Like I said, this one's years old and thousands of Ks of corrugation, but you know, the main thing with this sort of setup, if you're coming into a big gully, don't just go whoop, hit like that. That's what bends A-frames on. You just come in nicely. That's the biggest killer on A-frames of boats, is just going hard, too hard, going too hard, too fast, too hard. So many people got that much horsepower these days and they just go too hard. All right, I'm going to cut this down. It's a little bit of high tensile slasher blade, I think. See if it welds in there. And then I'll put the post up underneath. I'll see what else. I might have something better than that because it might crack the weld onto that. All right, I just got to get up and take the battery off there. Take the battery off my battery box. I've got no chance of getting any power through in case it's... Here's something I do that I haven't seen done before much. Other people might do it. But the common fault with a lot of people, I'm not bagging it, but they put the battery down in there, under a box. What's going to happen if she floods with water? Short your battery, done it. At least I know my tank's there. She gets water in there, it floats. I can put that up on the seat. I can bail the water out. My battery's up here on the seat. At least I can start the old girl. She's up and high and dry. Take this positive off. Now, is my way any better than anybody else's? Probably not, but in my mind, it is. So that's why I do it. You know, you do what you feel is right for you. And also, I notice with batteries down in there, they get a lot of salt water around them. And they get corrosion around the posts. I don't like that sort of stuff. But anyway, each to their own. I'm not knocking anybody's, I'm just saying what I do. I'm not a lover of inboard tanks under the floor. If they're built strong enough, fine. In a boat like this, you'd want at least 3 mil and baffled. Even preferably 4, because these little tinnies, flog hard. And then you don't want them cracking underneath there and losing a big heap of fuel. That's the only thing I don't like about them. I've had them crack. And on survey boats, it was illegal to have them under the floor. They had to be out. When I built the boat, it had to be out. You can have them under the floor as long as it's in a sealed tight compartment. So if it busted, the fuel stayed in that compartment. But with tinnies, you crack a tank, it just runs under the floor. Then your boat's sitting there full of fuel, and you got a smoker on board or a spark. Yeah, but 90% of people pick up on the fumes if they can smell it anyway. But anyway, these are little tips that I learnt from having survey boats and being charter operator and things like that. Is keep your fuel out where you can get at it. That's why I don't like to carry fuel in big amount in one big tank. I don't like this word remote anymore when I go on trips. You lose 20 litres, not 150 or 200. Oh look, I'd love to have bin-built tanks along on that trailer, but what happens if you drive along, stick comes up, knocks the hose up, cracks the tank, you do 150 litres. I mean, I suppose it's no big deal these days. You're within 24 hours or 10 hours, you drive and just buy some more fuel. But it is convenient, I must admit, to have it in somewhere like that. But for my way of liking, I just like it in the jerry cans. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. You do get a bit more water, moisture builds up in them. So you make sure you change your filters. But anyway, getting back on this job now, I've got to come and I'll scrape this rust protection off, give her a clean up where she's going to sit, where I'm going to weld. Look, this is pretty boring for you, just fast forward it. I've got to do I know I'm jumping out of the road here, but I've got to get my tools out. I'm doing a review on my battery soon. They're a couple of years old, all the gear. How good's that solar panel? 14.3 and it hasn't even flopping. All right. In the morning, what is it? Sun is just up there, cloudy day, it's totally full. Righto, I got to, like I said, I'm going to clean this down, cut a couple of bits of steel, weld them in, then bolt this bolt the oh, I've got to put a bit of water in that. Oh no, it won't be up there, it won't be too bad. I've got to bolt and then bolt that winch on. And she's going to be hard. Oh no, I might be able to come up in here. I might have to push the boat back a bit to get a spanner in there. And another spanner up in there to bolt them. That's the only trouble with them being right up in the middle of the pipe. I should probably actually cut that off. Put the winch here and then use the one spot. But having the winch already sitting there, might as well leave it there. This one dies, I can just pull this one over, go straight over the top of it. It's all back up. Yeah, it's all ready to go. You haven't got to muck around. So I think I will leave it there. All right, I'll do this. Okay, I got this tool. I scrape. Look at that for how the tack tool and the sump oil has built up over the years and just protected that. It just comes off in a big layer, of oiliness, of oily goodness. Right, I'm going to weld that cut a bit of plate and weld it in there. Just weld him along that top there in that strip. I've probably said it before, but they say an inch of weld will hold a ton. I'll just sit that down in there, piece of steel, put that box on it. I probably will use that box. And then weld him, tap him up in here a bit. Just to take the pressure off that. Drill another hole there. Okay, I'll do that. Woohoo! Got that bit of, oh, what is it? 6 mil? Might be 6 mil. I'll cut that. You need something with a bit of guts in it. As you'll see, I'm pretty rough. I'll cut that off there roughly and then I'll trim that up and get it to sit in there better. Get a block of wood to dry and cut onto. Now all I've got is my 18 volt Makita cut-off saw. And I grind it. And she ain't the best when it comes to that sort of stuff because that's just too thick. That's what I'm after. My old Makita 720. Put a cutting blade in that. Hook her up to the power. And we're away. I just use these as everybody else, little stainless steel ones. Put it in before the machine's plugged up to the power. Now, spray that over there because that's mesh. She's liable to throw some steel. Put this in here. Right, get me safety glasses. Plug that in there. Look away now. You don't like what I'm doing. Oh. Okay. Try not to shoot some sparks all over the Toyota. Cut this one off. Don't push too hard with these cutting discs, they'll break. Just let them cut away. Righto. That'll be a bit tropical. Won't be at the moment. The first cut you generally get away with picking it up. Oh, look at that. I'll just trim that back at a bit of an angle now, and that should just slip in there. Just a matter of working on until he drops in there. I might even be able to hit that in with a hammer, because she's making it nice and tight. Hammer. Oh. She's probably a bit warm now. Give her a cool off. I've got a tap just around the corner there. Ah, that's better. Your mate Ryan will be proud of me. He's a a baller maker. We made an aluminium trailer together years ago. Holy heck, I was rough. He did a good job. All right. I might as well keep it going. The old GoPro still hasn't blown up yet. She's still not too hot. All right. I'll sit that in there. I'll just see whether I got to cut that off or not. Or do I better off welding this on here first? Oh yeah, it covers it. Perfect actually. All right, I'll weld that in first. Get me 15 amp cord from up here. I got a lucky on this shed, the fella that had it before. Put a 15 amp plug in the shed. Run the welders. I mean, you can get away with them with less, but I didn't say that, of course. Purists out there that devil in electricity. What you got to do sometimes with the big jobs just to get it done. But plug this in here, fire it up. Put a bit of weight on it here. Drop the helmet down. Gotta burn that gel off, it's shite. Couple of tacks just to hold him in position. That's what's going to happen. Okay, yeah, she's spotted in. You feed the fat to it well, didn't there? Just don't give it too much on this end here and burn the bolt off. That's what's holding it there. Now this is just not the best setup, but it's the easiest I got, and it's adding an extra bit of strength. I just didn't want to weld that plate to the boat frame. To be honest, I reckon I just need a little bit more weld on it. Right. She's there. You won't move that. Use this last and this bit of stick. A bit of weld. Sometimes the flux gets broken on them. Righto. hold that in position. Righto. Let that run for a while because it's fan cooled. Not to just set, she gets hot, this thing. Okay, you got the gist. I just got to cut a bit of that box and slide it under there and weld that in. I'll switch this off for a little while. Righto, she's welded in. The welds aren't the world's best, but when you're welding hard galvo, hot dip galvo, she's pretty hard. Up underneath there, got a full foot of sort of weld in there, spotted along the side. She's got, you know, a good inch or two of weld, 40 mil of weld, 50 mil of weld up each side, there, and a spot. That's just beefed that whole post up. It's sort of, and it still can come off. See, it's hooked to that U-bolt. I can undo that. I can undo this. That can come out. Now, she's bloody tropical. See, she's bubbling there. Now I just give her a hit with a hose, cool her down, and I'll drill a hole in here. Like I said, little WSM Trade Tools inverter TIG. It's given to me years ago by Peter Brown. He wasn't using it, he bought himself a big sucker. It's been brilliant until before when I was bashing it. Something's a bit loose inside or something, obviously. You're not taking contact. A big deal of good to have a dry out and heat up. Yeah, you can see where I've cut there. I missed a cut. That's all right. I could muck around and weld that in, but that'll be good. I can get a bit of me rust proofing up into the top. And there's a hole here. It's already in the pipe. That'll come out. So those two welds down each side are just, it's all about just strengthening up what's there. I might have to change this here a little bit. Might have to drill another hole back here for this and then put that one in there. He might have to be drilled in here. And then have that one up here with a big bolt, a U-bolt like this, permanently in there to clip the, one to be able to clip this, don't know whether to use this or go to a stainless one. I'll put that on for a start, as I like that idea when you're by yourself and get that clip and the bolt goes over that, over the bolt that's sticking out and it won't fall off. These old girls here, this thing's got a bad habit of coming off when you, as soon as you back the pressure off it and you're trying to get her on by yourself. So this is another way of just being able to load the old girl in a bit of rough conditions by myself. Should have had it years ago. It's got a good length of cable on this winch. I think there's 7 or 8 metres there, so that'll be good. I tried to have this, I like to wind them over the top so they're actually lifting the boat, but by the looks of it, with this fairing lead, you'd have to weld another bit of plate on here and bring it up. That's a lot of mucking around. I'd have to take the machine off there, and so I'll just put it on the way it is. And I've got to tighten that up yet. Put a bit of Sikaflex or something on these bolts so they don't come undone. I should have probably had a bit of Loctite on them. They might come undone on the corrugations. It's nearly impossible to get a spanner in there. I don't know why they just didn't make it to incorporate the shape of the nut. So you only did it up from the back and it held it for you. Yeah, okay. The old tool bag could have been a bit longer. I know I'm waffling on about things, but all right, I'll turn this off and mount this winch up. And I might have to weld a bit of plate. Like I said, I've got to solder these ends here. I might show you that. You just heat them up here. Might have to cut a little bit of that plastic, maybe not. Just heat it there with the soldering iron and let the solder run down onto that wire. Then I've got to get a little plate, something to screw that to with a couple of roof screws. I might even let this cool, screw it straight to that. Drill that and screw it in there, and she'll just sit on that bit of pipe. So see how that goes. If not, she might have to go across here with a couple. Yeah, or on here, maybe not, wherever the wires meet. Then I got to do a cable, and she'll go onto the B2 lithiums in the back for winch and power. They say that it takes these dead stall at 160, 190 amps or something, but the wire they provide is only bloody 70 or 80 amp, if that. All right, turn this off, do a little bit more. Catch it. Okay, to get this on here, drill the 2 holes in there. I clamped him on with the clamp. Then I had this. It come down on top of that nut there in there. And then you got to get that, slide it up inside there, and you hold that in there. Try and, years ago you used to get, if you're doing a lot of it, you put a spot of weld just on the bottom that stopped the nut falling out. This one was not too bad. I had a bit of grease I put on it, and you just slide him up underneath, spin this one down with the thing, the rattle gun. Now I've got to get something long enough to go in there and do the same on that one. Oh, things you got to do to work these things out. But yeah, she sticks out. That's what I don't like. Sticks out there a long way. But anyway, she's going to have a little bit. It's on a pretty good fair plate, but I don't think it'll snap off. I'll just have to see how it goes. That's why I'm keen to get it on here and get it working around here. So by the time I go up the Cape next year, or wherever I go on a good trip, it's all working. I got it sussed out. Nothing worse than trying to fit one of these things like the day before you're going and you haven't tested it, got it working properly. So yeah, okay. And don't forget, I don't know whether it'll warrant. I always think that things on eBay you're not going to get warranty anyway, so I'm going to give this all a spray with CRC just to keep the moisture out of it, and I might make up a plastic container to put over the top of this so it's out, because my boat sits in the weather. I'll cut the bottom out of a 20 litre drum or something like that, and it can sit over the top there, or a 4 litre ice cream container or something, plastic, that sits over there and keeps the rain out of it. Alright, so yeah, I just got to work on it. Got to get something to go down there now. You mightn't see it, that screwed, that bolt right down there. And yeah, I don't know what I'll do. I'll have to make something up for that. Might have to sacrifice a tool like that and weld a bit to it, then poke it down there. Yeah, I've often done that before because it's a 1/2 inch size, and 1/2 inch is pretty common. So I might even have a 1/2 inch here somewhere, and I've already done it too. See, there's a 1/2 inch. I can just put a spot of weld on the top of him, just there, and that'll stop that corner coming through, and then you can poke that through and might weld that to another bit of steel and poke it right in there. That's what I'll work on. All right. Yeah, she's coming along good. All right. Keep chipping away. Like I said, I'll come and I'll show you this soldering this up here in a minute. I'll actually plug the soldering iron and get it warming up and have it warm, and then I'll film it at the same time as soldering. What I'll do is I'll just sit him down on a bit of timber like that. Just put him down like that, get the heat going, and then just drop a little bit of coarse flux on there, and she'll just glue that to that. Perfect. All right, I'll do that. So it's cooled off, ready to roll. This is a spinner I had to sacrifice. You just put a spot of weld underneath there on the vacuum. That stops the nut from going right through. And then I just welded that there. Then that allows you to see where your nut is and bolts right down there. This allows you to come right in here, come up underneath it, and then you come down with the rattle gun and that'll screw him up. Make sure she's in the right gear, come in at the right angle. Oh, she doesn't like it that much. As long as she starts. Look at that. No, she broke off in there, but at least she did the job. Get that spinner up in a minute. me weld on that bit of steel wasn't quite good enough. Beautiful. There you go. They're little things you got to adapt up to get things to work. Ah, righto. I think this soldering iron will be hot now. Okay. This should be hot. Put him over there. Pull this out a bit. Get that leather heat up a bit. See if you can see that. Make sure you give it a wipe around there so the bolt can go over the bolt still. Perfect. Now do the other one while she's hot. Doesn't take much, you just got to heat her up hot. Righto, I don't know if you saw, I've done this. That's bolted on. Now I'm going to mount the little box. I've got to read the instructions, find out which wire goes to where on the winch. So one will be positive, one will be negative. And I'll bolt that on, I'll put that on and bolt that up and screw that in position. I'll probably just mount that on with a couple of self-tapping screws to that. Actually I got to solder a Anderson plug on this, but I'm just testing this. See, it wants to go that way, whereas to me that's fucking hopeless. To me that should have been. Now it wants to go up like that. See? So where's the water going to run? All in around this box. Yeah. That annoys the shit out of me, things like that. Might have to mount this closer so it comes out of the bottom. Yeah, that might just go on there. Well, look at it. Or up under here. Under there, probably. Yeah, that might be better. And they'll reach. I'll have to scrape that off. I'll mount that to that box there. Okay, I had to see where I cut this, and I had to chop that much out of the handle because my hand would hit the winch there now, the electric winch. So this is just a backup now. So I cut that piece out of there, welded it back together, and I will combine that now. That comes off and goes in the car. Might be a bit hard to wind her on. I've mounted this box here, drilled holes through, and then used self-tapping roof screws, mount the on-off switch. Now just got to hook this end up here to power. And I put an Anderson plug on that, whack her on the battery with a lead. See, with a little short lead. Then I suppose these will just get wrapped around here when you're sitting in the park. Anyway, see what happens. I'll pull that up and put that in the car. I know people, they generally have a spot for that and it sits in there, but all mine go in at different angles. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that actually. Yeah. My little workshop, not much, but she does the job. It all looks a bit neat and tidy. I might bring this along here later and cable tie him back there too. Yeah. All right, I've got to bring the vise out here now and set it up and solder on solder up the Anderson plug. Then see if she works. I'll use this flamethrower and this bit of flux. So I'll set that up and do that. I think I've showed you how to do them. So there's nothing important there. I'll just cut those terminals off and should be good. That can go in the car. It's a little bit short. I could have had it a fraction longer, but I just sort of did it quickly. Just want to make sure my hands missed. That's the terrible thing there. I got a little rubber grommet that's I'll pull that off and put that on, cover that. They come in the box, so okay. Turn this welder off. Yeah, that might nearly do it. I'll probably film it that it's working here in a minute, and then give it a trial run. Okay, see you when it's winching. Back again, guys. I went to wind this jockey wheel up, and now I've got to cut a bit out of there and weld it back on. Just when you think you're finished, you change one thing without thinking, and because that was out the road, it misses, but you've handle hit it when you wind it. So I'll cut out buddy 30 mil, bring it over and weld it back in, and it should be pretty good. Alright, got to do that. Morning, it's Tonk here. Another day. I've got a confession. I buggered up yesterday when I was doing this winch. I've never owned a winch before, and I had no idea. I did read the I thought I did read the pamphlet pretty good, but obviously I never read it good enough, because this remote, I couldn't get it to work. Anyway, I pulled it all apart and bodged this up. I took the sender out, the module that runs the remote, so it's remote, so you can walk down the back and hook it up and press the button, and I've only got it hooked up to this switch. Anyway, I mustn't have read this book enough, and I'm not a big reader, see, so it must be in this book here somewhere how to do it. But just in case you're like me and don't read the manual, I've never owned a winch before. See this? You hold these two buttons down till that red light comes on. Now that winch is activated. This is what I didn't do yesterday, and I couldn't get this to talk to the winch. I thought the winch was buggered, so I pulled it all apart. I mucked around with it, and yeah, it's my own stupid fault. I just didn't read the flop manual, and yeah, I paid for it, because I've got to go and pull it off and solder this unit, this module, which I thought this module was buggered, but now after finding out, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So I'm going to solder it back together, the wires, hook it all up, because I was cunning enough that I cut them off long enough to use it with a bit of luck. I can't remember where I actually cut it. Hopefully I was smart enough to not cut them too short. And I'll solder that back in and see whether I can get it to work off the remote. Yeah, so which is what I just bought it for, and I may even have to, because of this here, the length of it, and by the time I put I'm not sure whether that, well, I'll have to test. I might have to get rid of that and just check that. I'll check it now, see whether that will clip onto the front of the boat. If that clips through there, no, it's too big, see? Through there, I can't, the gap there is too big to get that, and it won't go through. So you got to put another D-shackle through there, and it hangs out and you clip it onto to use that. Because I want to be able to, or I might be able to buy a different one of these, a bit bigger. Let me see, I'll work on it. Either that or I've got to move this back. And then I have to shorten the handle if I want to use it. It just, there's a whole raft of things that I never thought of when I changed it. Anyway, this may have to be shifted as well. I'll drill a hole back here, move him back, then that safety chain can go into that one. Then I can work on do something with this one. So that's what I might do after fitting it. But this morning my job is I'm going to pull this off and fit that back in and solder it all back together. Because yeah, I didn't understand, and hopefully it works. Hallelujah. Turn the remote on. I had to wire her up again. Now that's it. Now I got them back to front, but that don't matter. At least they're working. And the switch works. How good's that? You beauty. Oh, what a bugger. If I would have just turned that on. So people, make sure you turn this on by pressing the 2 buttons down, and then to turn it off is the same. There you go. Oh, it would have saved me a lot of trouble if I read the instructions. Hello. Morning guys, Tonk here. I'm just down checking my crab pots, and didn't get anything this morning, but finger on it. You might be a bit high there. I've just got to get this. I've just got to hook this cable up. It's not the right size, but I'm just using it. And see how my tugboat goes. Push it across here. Now you got to remember to turn these remotes on. This is winching her up pretty good.